What you probably don't know about me is that I'm actually quite a huge Star Wars fan. And even though this franchise has been somewhat of a letdown in the last couple of years, still, over the long term I have collected quite a few interesting items. And so I decided to make the second floor of my display case Star Wars dedicated. But before I talk a bit more about my collection, let's welcome its newest member. A very angry Fist Lord hides inside this box, so let's help him get out. An original 1999 Darth Maul figurine, from episode 1 obviously, and yeah, there have been quite a lot of those different variations, like with cape, without cape, only with one lightsaber blade out, and so on. It almost looks brand new, but only almost. As you can see, it's taped over here, so they have carefully cut it open to still make it look like it's sealed and everything. The condition is, however, pretty much mint. Seriously, look at this, there's not even a single dust corn on it. And also there's this Calm Talk chip included. Most of those figurines have those, so what is this about? What are those for? Well, fortunately, the Calm Talk device itself is also part of my collection. I am pretty proud of it because it was damn expensive back then, and I remember I had to save up money like crazy to actually get it. And I was so happy when I finally got it. So what the thing actually is, it's pretty much just a little device that plays back certain sentences from those movies. You know, like quotes. Basically you place one of those chipsets on it, and then it recognizes the data that is on it, and then you can save it and play it back with those buttons. I mean, for nowadays standards, it of course sounds completely lame, because every one of us has one of those things in their pocket, which can do pretty much all this and much more. But back then, I think it was really cool. Also, check this out. It requires one of those huge-ass batteries. Yeah, you don't see them much nowadays. Apparently it's called an E-block. So let's see if the thing actually still works. Haha, look at this. After all those years, technology built to last. Yeah. Yeah, it's like lightsaber sounds, and here we have a blaster. I still remember this. Like it was yesterday. Although probably the stuff that I saved back then is not present anymore, right? Yeah, it probably only saved as long as the battery is still in. But okay, let's check out what Darth Maul has to say.
Ein großer Krieg steht bevor. Haltet eure Truppen bereit, Vizekönig.
What the fuck? This is not even his voice. I mean, he speaks in German, I didn't expect that. But,
Wenn die Spur richtig ist, würde ich sie beim Zünden meistern.
It's like they picked some hobo from the street and asked him to say a few lines in this. Because seriously, this is not what Darth Maul's voice was sounding like in the movies. Somehow I can remember the lines being in English, but I guess that's just my memory playing tricks on me. How about we try out this one? I think it was included with the device itself. Yeah.
It's Jar Jar Binks!
Yeah, that's Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, great.
Du wirst ein Jedi-Ritter.
Yeah, you're going to be a Jedi Knight. Okay, so it was in German after all. I mean, I bought it in German, and back then there was a thing called localization, so obviously you cannot select the language on the thing. Yeah, it was not really a thing back then. Okay, so the other items of my collection, for example, we have this Millennium Falcon here, obviously, a very iconic piece. This is actually part of a tabletop game called Star Wars X-Wing. It's also the only part from this game I have, because I just bought it because it looks awesome, you know? The colors on it, the paint job is really fantastic. The attention to detail is really huge. You can also move this antenna around. Also, I remember it was quite expensive. It was like 15 or even 20 euros. So I assume if you really wanted to play this tabletop game and wanted to buy all the pieces, like wanted to have them in real 3D and not just those weird cards, yeah, it was altogether quite an expensive tabletop game. Next we have those weird crystals. Like here, for example, you can see a droid, it's kind of 3D. This is actually something that was inside a cornflakes box. Yeah, I remember back then cornflakes were really the shit. You could get all kinds of stuff, from small toys like this to, you know, like CDs with actual games on it. Those games were pretty simple, of course, but for back then it was quite cool. I also remember I had much more stuff from cornflakes boxes. There were also like small busts of, yeah, don't laugh, busts of Star Wars characters, but they were really low quality, so I threw them all away. I had a lot of those. And yeah, right now I kinda regret that I didn't keep even a couple of those. Then we have a couple of smaller figurines, like for example right here we have Sebulba, also from episode 1, and his pod racer, and also some random guy and the animal, yeah, I don't know what it's called. I'm not that huge of a Star Wars nerd, unfortunately. Then from a different collection, yeah, I remember those here. This is the ship which also appeared in the very beginning of episode 1. I also don't know what it's called, I think Republic, Transport or Cruiser or whatever. And from the same collection I also have, obviously also from episode 1, the droid tank, Transporter. It also has AACC, I don't really know the acronyms for it. And also the landing boat which was carrying those tanks. Obviously it's way bigger in comparison, so yeah, the scales here are really not accurate. And those landing boats were of course inside this here. Those huge Trade Federation battleships, they also have probably a special name. This is probably one of the best parts of my collection because it's actually metal and not plastic. I remember it was also a set of 3 or so different ships. There was this one, then there was the ship of the Queen, this silver chrome-looking one, and also something else, I think a pod race or something, but they were pretty expensive, and yeah, as a kid I didn't have that much money obviously, so I had to choose. And I thought this ship is also pretty cool. Also you can see the little red ship over there, this is actually the cruiser. Yeah, my phone, yeah, now it's getting sharp. You can actually put it inside, like it's entering the landing bay. Come on. Yeah, awesome. And then we have another one from a different series of toys, or let's say statues. This is Darth Maul's ship, which is very fitting because I will place Darth Maul next to it. It was also like those 3 over here. You could actually build it from small parts. I also remember I had a really big one from Anakin's pod racer, also with a lot of parts you could put together and build it. But yes, it somehow got broken during the years. I don't remember what actually happened to it, but it was very expensive. I got it as a birthday present. I really wanted it, but unfortunately I cannot show you now. And yeah, the only problem with it, it was black and white, so to say. You had to paint it yourself, because you can see this stuff, for example, it is already painted. It's kind of like those Warhammer statues, which you can paint yourself. Some people are really into this stuff, but for me, just putting it together was enough. So yeah, back then I really wasn't in the mood to actually paint the whole thing. Now I know what you are going to say. Somehow this collection is suspiciously small and also suspiciously episode 1 based. But wait, there is more. I got 2 more over here, next to this awesome Bruce Lee CD. Okay, so first of all we have Ki-Adi-Mundi. Okay, now I know what you're going to ask. And no, I'm not a hardcore Ki-Adi-Mundi fan. Back then I just wanted to have one Jedi from the Jedi Council, and they didn't have the badass Plo Koon, for example, so I decided to buy this weird big head guy. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was a kid back then, okay? Also, if you are wondering why he is such an extreme badass, yeah, he is wielding 3 lightsabers, although the one in his mouth, it's not really a lightsaber, it's one of those cocktail swords, if this is what you call them. You know, it's like you put a piece of fruit in a cocktail and you stick this stuff in it. Anyway, yeah, I just glued it onto his mouth because I guess I was watching One Piece back then and I decided to give him the 3 sword style like Zoro has. But yeah, don't mind this. Anyway, I at some point bought an expansion pack, so to say. It was an accessory pack for those figurines. and it's included, for example, the second lightsaber. I think this is supposed to be blue, but it looks really dark. I guess it's got bleached by the sun or something. The green one wasn't in the expansion pack and the accessory pack. There's also another one. It's his belt. It's a deactivated one. Then there were a couple of blasters. This here, this one, 3 of them, and a long sniper rifle, laser sniper rifle, and of course also this jetpack with a grappling hook. Really cool, right? Why does a jetpack have a grappling hook? I don't know. Maybe if you run out of gas or something. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm not the one who designed this toy. I remember there were actually a couple of more items. There was this brown Jedi robe and something else, but I guess they got lost over the years. It's really a pity, because the robe itself was it was not plastic like those figurines. It was made from actual cloth. And yeah, but there was no space for it anymore, so I guess I put it somewhere else and it somehow got lost. And the last piece of my collection is Obi-Wan's Starfighter. Finally, something that is not Episode 1 based. We also have Obi-Wan inside of it. It was also one of those Build-A-Bus things. Yeah, there he is. He is not stiff. You cannot change his posture. And also there's the Astromech droid. I think his one was called R5. Also you can open those things, those wing things. Yes, there we go. Now the wings are open. And also you can see the design. It already looks a little bit like those TIE fighters compared to the technology which appears in the original Star Wars trilogy. There the ships, especially the TIE fighters, they have a lot of polygons, so to say, a lot of corners, if this is a good way to explain it. So that's why this ship has kind of a bit of both worlds. It's true, my Star Wars collection is not that huge, but as I said, back then I was a kid and didn't have the cash to waste on all this plastic. Although I think it's not a waste at all. I am quite proud of my collection. And I think it fits very well into the second floor of my display case. And with that said, thank you all for watching, and see you around.